So with all the Artie Cake and Industrial Chic hauls I've been getting the past couple of months, I'm finally going to bite the bullet and make one of these configuration boxes for the first time. So I have pulled one out. I actually had about 5 of these that I was using for embellishment storage, and so I have since gone to a different storage system. So now I have all these configuration boxes. They're this size right here. So I have to find some way of repurposing them. So I am going to do my very first alteration of one. Right now I'm just trying to figure out how I want to set it up. And I didn't know if I wanted to like keep all the pieces, you know, inside. But now I think I'm going to go to something like this, where I just kind of have this kind of a space where I can, you know, put maybe some bigger focal point right here. So anyway, I guess what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to gesso all this and just have a base coat on it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to paint over the gesso or if I am going to paper it. So I'm going to think about that as well, because I may not have to gesso as much if I go the paper route, because then I only need to do, like, you know, the edges. So I'll figure that out and come back. So I have continued to work. I have got everything gessoed, and I have even started working on my box here. Here, let me zoom back out. Woo, making you dizzy. And I decided that I was going to use the Prima Engraver. I have the A4 pad. So I decided I'm going to use that on this configuration box. So what I've already done is I've pulled out some pieces, and I just used some regular Elmer's glue, applied it with a foam brush after I cut out some pieces to go on this. So I've adhered the back side piece that I wanted. Then I went around it with some Distress ink around the edges that I think are going to show, because what's going to happen is this lid's going to come on. So there is going to be a little bit that you're going to see. So I wanted to have some ink on that. Now, I didn't bother putting any paper around the outside of this box, because this lid is going to be covering. So you don't have to worry about putting paper on that when you're doing it like this. But I did go ahead and measure all my inside pieces and got those cut out, and the pattern sides that I wanted to show on here. So everything's adhered down. I'm just waiting for stuff to dry now. So I am next going to figure out what I'm going to do for my cover, because I don't think I'm going to put paper on this. I believe I'm going to use the foil tape, run this through the embossing folders, one of my embossing folders, and do like a faux metal embossed look for this cover to go over this piece right here. What I'm going to do, my focal point in this main box here is going to be the dress form from Tim Holtz Alteration Sewing Room die. I'm going to use this dress form, and what I'm going to do is use Miranda Edney. She's Miss Liberty 25 here on YouTube. She has a great tutorial on making a 3D dress form using this die. So that is what I plan to use as my focal point in this box. So right now, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out an embossing folder, run my tape through it, and start adhering it to this outer lid here. And then I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my last piece here that I'm getting ready to put on here. What I used, I decided to go with the Tim Holtz Alterations clock texture fade. So I thought it went with this Prima Engraver line really well, so I decided to go with that. I've already got this tape down on 3 sides, so I thought I would just come in and show you how I was doing it. So you have to run, obviously, it's too long, so you have to run it through first this way and then turn it around and run it through it again. Whoops, just so you can get your entire tape piece. It's gonna, you know, depend on what size box you're using. I also went a little bit longer when I measured the tape out. I went a little bit longer than the actual length of the sides here, because I knew when I ran this through the embossing folder that it was going to shrink in some because of the embossing. So I will have to do a little bit of trimming here, but I'm basically just going in and making a straight line out of the edges, the ends here that were, you know, just a little bit crooked from when I originally cut these pieces off the tape roll. So, okay. And then what I'm going to do, just so it'll fold over nicely, what I'm going to do is I'm going to miter the corner on the top where I'm folding this over. So I'm just mitering those corners. Be careful with these metal pieces. They will cut you. I've got so many metal cuts on my fingers from working with this tape. Okay, and I'm just trying to get the backing off of this tape right now because I'm working off camera. I have to have this up at my eyeball so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'm just lining it up. I'm going to sit down. Hold on. Okay. Let me fix this. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to line this up really good. Like so. Make sure it's really adhered down. And then fold this part over. So see, mitering those corners makes that fold down really easy. And again, this is the reason why I really like this 3M tape, because it fits perfectly around this edge of the configuration box lids. So I really like that. I like that it was a perfect fit like that. You don't have to do any extra cutting. So I'm just going to come in here, fold this over, make sure it's really adhered down really well. Okay, so there we go. I have got my embossing done here. All right, I like the way that turned out. For once, something actually turned out positively. Yay! That I didn't have to go back and redo two or three more different times. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take some of the gesso. I'm going to run a coat over this to get it ready for the paint. I haven't decided on the paint color yet. That's going to be the next thing. I don't know, I may even do sprays. I don't know yet. Paint, sprays, something. I just haven't made up my mind yet. But just sewing this to cover it all up, to prime it for the paint, is the next step I'm getting ready to do. So I'll be back. So I have gone in between waiting for, you know, some of the stuff to dry on the 3D mannequin that I'm doing, that I decided to just go ahead and start spray painting the metal foil tape that I embossed on this lid cover here. So I went in with some different colors. I went in with an espresso color wash by Adirondack, the Adirondack colors, and also with butterscotch as well. I dried in between, I heat set everything in between sprays, and then I decided I didn't like the way it looked. So I went in with Lindy Stamp Gang and Crow's Nest Copper. So then I sprayed that, dried it, and then went in with Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist in Black Magic. So I like the way that turned out, because now it looks like just old aged metal. And I really like the way this turned out. So I'm getting ready to do that now on the top of this. So I just got it set here in my box, and just so I don't, I've got white furniture, and so I've got so much overspray on my furniture, and I'm trying to remember to use these boxes so that I can keep my furniture cleaner than what I have been. Okay, so I'm going to dry that. And I like how some of the aluminum silver metal is kind of showing through underneath where the gesso didn't hit. And I could have gone over that with a second coat of gesso so that none of the metal showed through, but I wanted it to kind of show through a little bit, and so I decided to just stick with one coat of gesso before I started applying all these sprays on top. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this Black Magic. I'm getting down to the bottom of my bottle because I use this stuff on so many things. So I'm going to have to buy a replacement bottle of that pretty soon. Okay, dry enough. Maybe not. Okay, so I think this looks really, really good. I wanted to keep the same tones of the Prima Engraver paper. I kind of wanted to keep those same sepia and black tones. It's like sepia, cream, and black is pretty much all the color that's in this paper pad. So I kind of wanted to stick, you know, with that same, I don't want to go crazy with any extra colors. I want to keep it kind of monochromatic with those colors. So anyway, love how this turned out. Now, another piece that I've got to go into this box is, because the dress form is going to go in here, but now I've decided I kind of want to have like a frame. I don't know what I'm going to put in that frame yet, but what I have here is one of these really, you know, inexpensive frames from Michaels. It's from their, you know, $1.50, $2 bin, whatever it is. And it started out, if I can find one, it started out like this, only of course it was oval, and it was also a pink color. So it's just one of these Michaels frames that I totally took, I stripped it bare down to just this. So, you know, I took out the back, and you can see there's the original color of it. So I also gessoed this while I was gessoing the lid of that box. I've already done the butterscotch and espresso Adirondack color wash on here. So now I'm going to do the same thing. That I just did with the cover, the lid, and now I'm going to go in and do that with this frame as well, just to tie everything all in together. Okay. Okay, and now with that glimmer mist. Oh yeah. I like how kind of splotchy that looks. I don't think it's going to maintain that color saturation once I dry it, but a slight different look than, you know, than my lid here, because you know, this is the foil tape, so, and this is some kind of like, you know, resin piece, so it's gonna have a little bit of a different look to it, even though I'm using the exact same spray colors. And what I'll probably wind up doing on this as well, is because it's the, you know, embossed clocks, I'll probably go back over it with a sanding block just to expose some of the numerals and, you know, the clock hands and stuff in here. So we'll see about that. Because I don't know, because I guess if I don't like the look of it, I could always go back over it with like some rub and buff or something, so. Yeah, this is my first time doing a configuration box, altering a configuration box, so once you get deeply into it, you start to get a little afraid of doing things, because it's like, oh, what if I don't like it? How am I going to fix it? So anyway, here is my frame piece. Oh, wow. Yeah, the gooey stuff. I forgot I was heating it, so I'm melting it. Ha! Glad I picked it up. It probably would have stuck to the bottom of that if I hadn't done that. So be careful when you're heat setting. I probably should have just let it dry naturally. But anyway, I really like the way this turned out. So this is going to sit in the box. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it, but I'll figure that out in a bit. And okay, so now I'm just waiting for my mannequin pieces to dry. This is just the base part of it. I really haven't done anything to it yet, except, you know, just made this, you know, like I said, I'm not going to do the tutorial on this because Miranda Edney, Miss Liberty 25 here on YouTube, did an awesome job of showing you how to do a 3D dress form. So, you know, I'm just going to do mine off camera. I'll show it when it's done, but this is how far I've gotten, you know, with it so far. There's still quite a bit more that I'm going to do to it. I did take one of the Engraver line buttons to use as my base here. So, you know, that when I do set this in my box, you know, however I'm going to have this sitting, you know, it has a good base to stand on. So I used one of the buttons. I've got glue boogers everywhere. Okay, anyway, I'll be back with what I do next. I've put a little bit of texture on the back side of the box. I just used a Crafter's Workshop template. It's a 6x6 ledger one. And I think now I'm going to do the same thing on the inside cover here. And instead of using molding paste, I think I'm going to use just black gesso because I thought about mixing some color with the molding paste. But, yeah, I think I'm just going, yeah, okay, I wasn't going to do that, but now I've changed my mind again. And I think I will after all. So, I don't want that much. I'm just going to scrape some out here. Ow. And, whoa. Mix this up. So I've just taken some black gesso to mix in with this. Because again, I want to just keep with the same, you know, tones of the colors that's in this paper pad. So, since there's always already browns and creams in here, I'm just going to come in with this black. Ah! I knew I shouldn't have done that right over my project. That was a big mistake. Okay. Golly, I'm normally pretty good about keeping my mixing separate from my project, but I didn't do a good job on that. Okay, so I'm going to take this template, set it down, just kind of glop this on. This is pretty messy, so okay. And because my frame is going up here, I'm not going to do anything with this texture up at the top because I want my frame to sit really flush in there. So I kind of don't want anything over that. So anyway, gonna let that dry, and there you can kind of see how it turned out. I liked that. And I don't know, I'm thinking I may come up here, do a little bit. Scrape some of this that I have left over. It stinks because you're working in this box, so you gotta kind of work around that. Oh yeah, that turned into a big old globby mess. All right. Yeah, that didn't turn out too well, but if I try to scrape it off, it's going to leave a black residue, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to leave it. I may wind up switching the orientation of my frame now to cover that up, so we'll just wait and see. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, I finally finished the center focal point of my configuration box menagerie, whatever you want to call it, that I'm working on here. So the first thing that I did is I got my mannequin done, that 3D mannequin, and I put some cheesecloth. I wrapped some cheesecloth from the waist down on this dress form after I sprayed it with some Lindy Stamp Gang. I believe it was the incandescent copper or one of those. Anyway, one of those coppery sprays. It was a Moon Shadow Mist. And then I used some of this trim. It's a Michaels trim from one of the, you know, clearance packs that I got, that I picked up on one of my hauls in the last couple of months. So I just wrapped that around the waist, to use a hot glue gun to adhere all this down. And then I had some grunge board embellishments that I took these wings out and I embossed them with like a mixture of two colors. It was like a black and a copper embossing powder that I went ahead and mixed together and used that to emboss the wings so that they have a little bit of shimmer there. And what else did I do to this mannequin? I think that was pretty much it. I didn't want to make it too busy because of all the stuff I had going on in here. This is that Michaels frame. So I got it adhered down, and I just used another piece of the Engraver pattern paper in here as the background of that frame. And this is just some flower pieces that I had left over from a Christmas gift. So it came attached to a Christmas gift that I got. So I just used it because the color went really well, and it's that beige color. So, and then I used a brad from the Engraver brad pack right here, and use that as the center of the flower. This is a chipboard piece from the Engraver line. And then down here, I don't know if you can see those spools that I cut out of the sewing room die. That's grunge board that I have attached some of the paper to and then cut it out. I just used my Xyron adhesive runner and attached the paper to the grunge board before I cut it out. And I hot glued that down into the corner, so it's just tucked in there. And then over in this corner are some I Am Roses that I have dry brushed over with white gesso, and two of the buttons from the chipboard pack, the Engraver chipboard pack. So I like how that turned out. I think that turned out awesome. And then on the back side, what I did is I took my hot glue gun and went through all the seams between the lid and the box itself, and laid the hot glue down, and then put the washi tape. This is, I believe, Michaels brand washi tape that is just it's a tape measure. Yeah, it's like a tape measure. Can't really see that, but because I wanted to like close up the seams. So, and the color went really well, and also the tape measure went really well with this theme as well. So, all right, so now I've got to get working on the rest of the little boxes that are going to go to the side here. So, because I'm doing kind of a deconstructed configuration box, instead of having them inside, all of them are going to be on the outside. So I'll work on these pieces and be back. Okay, so I got all the side boxes done and adhered down, and I really love the way that this turned out. Once you get going on these, it's just like, you know, going through all your embellishments and trying to find stuff to go into it. It's just like, it goes really quickly, but I spread it out between a few days too. So I had this past weekend where I did absolutely nothing crafty. And my boyfriend's been complaining, so I decided I better spend some time with him and not spend so much time in here in my craft room. So anyway, so I have just been working on this on and off, and because I do have a full-time job too. So anyway, it is done, and the only thing that I did decide that when I first started this project, I was going to put the Tim Holtz feet on here and have this where it stands up. So that's why I had done some work here on the back. But I since changed my mind, and I've decided I'm going to put a picture hanger back here and just have it hang on the wall instead. So I have a heck of a lot more wall space than I do shelf space, so I decided that's the route I wanted to go with this. Unless I decide to gift this too. I haven't made up my mind yet. This was just something I wanted to do, and I did it, and now I'm just kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. So this, I think the only thing since the last scene that I did where I had this center box done, the only thing extra that I've done to it is I have put some of the, this is just a Michael's pearl bling, I don't know what you call that, but I did put that piece in there. I did do a grunge crown. It's a Tim Holtz grunge crown. I embossed it with gold embossing powder, and then I just, you know, stuck it down with my glue gun. What else? I think that's all I did. Oh, and I did add the Tim Holtz doorknob, and I believe this is like an either an industrial chic piece or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's industrial chic. I was going to say Art of Cake. I do have some Art of Cake pieces in here as well, but this, yeah, this is industrial chic because I had a big clearance haul that I got from Michael's on that I posted a video on. So I decided I wanted to use some of those pieces in here, and I did. So anyway, that's all I did to the center, and now just these, you know, boxes here. This is a Tim Holtz clock back here tucked in the corner. I lined everything, all these boxes, I lined with the Prima Engraver paper, with the exception of a couple of them that, you know, I did some specialty paper in. But there's a brad from Prima Engraver brad right here in the center of this clock. One of the game spinner I've got in there as a hand. I wrapped some twine in a button piece that came with the pack. I don't know if you can see this. And some more I Am Roses, a little copper butterfly, and yeah, trying to watch this while I'm talking just to see if you can see it all. I adhered everything, pretty much everything is adhered down with the E6000 and my hot glue gun. And it's very, very sturdy, so I'm not really worried about this thing falling apart. This is a ticket piece from the Engraver line that I just attached it's either a bead landing or industrial chic, no, it's a bead landing. Bead landing crown 2. Back here is a Prima Engraver metal flower that I just stuck down as well. Tim Holtz key. Some more I Am Roses back there. A chipboard piece. Again, I don't know if you can see any of this. This is some industrial chic, a little metal plaque that I stuck back there. The Tim Holtz figurine. What I did here, and it's like this flower over here that I made, I did a soda pop can. I cut one up and used the metal to cut a flower die out of my Sizzix Biggs die, and then ran it through an embossing folder as well, just to get some texture on it. And then I put some alcohol inks on it to color it up, and then there's like a vintage brad in the center of this flower piece. But I had a couple of from the die, I had a couple of the leaves in there, so I decided to me fix this. So I decided to just make little wings for the little Tim Holtz figurine there. So I thought that was really cute. Another I Am Roses. I think this is, I don't know if you can see this, that's another bead landing piece. And over on this side, I have again some more either bead landing, industrial chic, I can't really remember. Wow, I'm sorry, I'm having a really hard time with my camcorder here. Hello, there we go. And then there's like a Michaels piece that stuck way, I don't even know if you can see that, that stuck way in the back there. There's like a shadow from my lamp, so. Okay, and then here, this is that flower that I die cut out of my Sizzix, and another Tim Holtz trinket pin, some industrial chic apothecary bottle, and then this is some more, and no, that's Arctic Cake. This is an Arctic Cake piece. I'm not sure what this piece is in the back. I bought it so long ago, like when I first started doing this last October. I think this was like my very first embellishment pack that I ever bought, so I don't even remember. Got it at Joann.com. I don't even remember what name brand it is. And then down here, gotta move the thing again. And then down here is the a number 5 that is from the Industrial Chic. I have some Tim Holtz pin nibs here on the side. Another one of the spools that I cut out, wrapped some string around, and I have some pins tucked in there. And then in the very back, the same way that I did this flower, I just embossed with the Tim Holtz clock embossing texture fade. I just ran a sheet of that soda pop can that I had cut out through the embossing folder, and so it's like a little clock stuck back there. So that is it. Like I said, I'm really sorry about that, you guys. I need a camera person. So this is my deconstructed Tim Holtz configuration box made with the Prima engraver paper, and I guess I'll see you guys later.